Cześć przyjaciele, hi, welcome to Polish Wątróbka. Today I would like to show you something that we eat in Poland, but I know not everyone loves it and some people just don't know how to prepare it. So today I want to show you how to make liver with some onions and cherries. Delicious meal that I'm gonna serve on some croutons with rosemary and thyme. I hope you will enjoy it, so let's start. First thing that has to be done with the liver, it has to be cleaned. So rinse the liver and pat it dry with a kitchen towel. Then trim and discard any visible fat, green parts or membranes and set aside. Remember that you're working with chicken livers, so you cannot cross-contaminate different products. So make sure to use a board that is plastic, it just makes it easier to clean. All the plastic boards in my house are for working with raw meat. And then use gloves, or make sure that every time you stop working on the livers, you go and wash your hands. After cleaning the liver, you need to do the next step, which is soaking in milk. I tried oat milk, I tried cow milk, both of them will work. Just let it sit for about 15 minutes. While the livers are soaking, I prepare croutons that will go perfectly with the livers. So I cut some baguette and pour some olive oil on top of it. Use salt and pepper. And then I chop some lemon thyme and some rosemary that I put on top of each crouton. That way prepared, I put it in the oven for 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. I still have a few minutes to spare, so I'm gonna chop my onion. I use two different kinds of onions, a red one and a white one, just so it's more colorful. And then I chop garlic. I use about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. After 15 minutes, I drain the livers and let it sit in a drainer for a minute, and then I'm gonna marinate it. So I put all the livers in another bowl. I add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I also add 20 grains of pepper, some rosemary, and some garlic. It is very important not to add salt during marinating or when you're cooking liver. It will become very tough and it's gonna taste like a shoe. The salt easily will be added at the end before you serve it, so don't worry about being not salty enough. I mix everything together and then let it sit for another 10 to 15 minutes. Third part of preparing a liver is to actually fry it well. So you have to have a hot pan and hot oil. If it won't be hot enough, the liver will become soggy and disgusting. I prepare my liver in 2 parts. First, I saute the onions. However, I use very high temperature and I cook it in a very short time. So it's brown, it changes color, but it's still very crunchy. Then I'm gonna take it out on a plate and then start on my liver. Cooking liver is pretty easy, you just have to follow simple rules. First, your pan has to be hot. Second, do not overcrowd your pan. And a tip from me, just put the livers in a clockwise so you know which one to turn first. If the pan is getting too hot and your meat is getting stuck to it, add a bit of oil and that will decrease the temperature of the pan. Basically what you do is sear the meat, but making sure that it's still raw inside. It's just easy to see, it's very soft inside. And this is everything that we're gonna do for now. You sear it and you put it aside. Liver is amazing with a glaze, so to the pan that you sauteed the onions and the livers, you add garlic and about 2 cups of cherries. I use frozen cherries because they just already pitted, and I will use the water as my glaze. To add more flavor, I add a twig of rosemary and a bit of lemon thyme. To create more aroma, I add 3 tablespoons of bourbon and then let everything boil so the alcohol evaporates. I add a tablespoon of agave syrup for a bit of sweetness and a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. I also add some salt and some pepper. I let everything reduce and again a bit evaporate. And finally I add my liver back to ensure that now it gets cooked through, but in that glaze that I just created. I take a spoon and I basically braise all the livers in that glaze that I created. That helps cook it through, and also it helps with not overcooking it. When it's almost done, I add about a teaspoon of butter and then again glaze everything in that sauce. If you want to be sure that your liver is cooked, you basically take one piece and then check with a spoon or with your finger the tenderness of it. If it bounced back, it is perfect. Take out all the herbs and then add the onion that was sauteed at the very beginning. Finally, take your croutons and serve it on the side, or you can put the livers actually on top of the croutons and then eat it as a small appetizer. Do not forget to add a pinch of salt just before you serve it. Thank you for being with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and share with someone that might like this and Polish recipes. SMACZNEGO!